under Islam, in Islamic Republic of Iran, I managed to get arrested over 12 times, put in prison and detention centers. I spent countless hours in there. And I also managed to earn myself over 100 lashes as a teenager between age 9 and 14. I committed so many horrifying crimes, such as having nail polish on, such as singing publicly by accident, such as showing my hair by accident from the back of my hijab, such as attending parties where boys and girls were in the same room. Yes, I was a normal teenager who was seen as a criminal under Islamic government. Once I was arrested for sitting in front of a taxi. We got pulled over by morality police. I said, I'm just a passenger. The male driver said, no, we are having relations. Next morning, when I was sent to the court, I repeated my story and I said I was just a passenger. The judge looked me in the eye and said, well, do you have anyone to confirm your story? I said, well, no, we were alone in the car. He said, well, in that case, I have no choice but to take his word for it. You are sentenced to 75 lashes. I served 25 of them. I was a teenager. The reason for that is under Islam, a testimony of a woman is considered as half of a man. And that comes from where a woman in general is considered a half of a person. And again, where does that come from? Let's go to my favorite chapter. Chapter 4, verse 11 in Quran confirms that a daughter in a family deserves half of a son in that family. At age 14, close to 14, considering I was a criminal, my father figured, you know what, I'm a sheikh, my reputation is being questioned because my daughter is a criminal. It is time for her to be somebody else's problem. So what do? We marry her off. One day he told me I'm going to marry the guy that he picked for me. I tried. Yes, I tried fighting it, crying, begging him, didn't work out. And we already established he has the power under Sharia to give me away. So he did. The man who bought me from my father had this really funny habit of beating me any chance he got. One day, as I was sick and tired of being beat up, after he was done beating me and left, I got myself together and I went to a court. And I figured I can walk into a court, talk to a judge, and somehow, somewhere convince him that I need a divorce because this man is going to just keep beating me until I'm dead. So I walked in there and I was still injured. There was a bloody lip, bruised eye. My shoulder was dislocated. And I told the judge that I need you to issue me a divorce before this guy kills me. Very calmly, the judge looked up with a smile, very calmly, and told me, young lady, maybe it's time for you to obey your husband so he doesn't have to beat you. Go home and make him happy. Remember, I was barely 15 at this point. I was a wife. I was being beat up daily. And a judge whose job is to make sure that I get justice told me to go home and make my husband happy by obeying him. Yes, it takes a lot of evil in someone to do so. But he was following orders. Whose orders? Allah's orders. Again, chapter 4, verse 34 of Quran says, men are in charge of women. Ladies and gentlemen, under Islam as a man, you don't need proof. You don't need evidence. All you need to do is think and assume it's coming. If you think your wife is going to disobey you, warn her, separate your bed, then beat her until she obeys you. Based on chapter 4, verse 34, the man who bought me, based on chapter 4, verse 3, had the right to beat me because I wasn't obeying him the way he wanted me to obey him. No, ladies and gentlemen, I have no problem with Muslims. I have no problem with people. I don't have a couple of bad memories. I didn't have a father who was cold-hearted. I wasn't unlucky some pedophile picked me as a wife. No. Everything happened to me because a holy book named Quran exists. There is an argument daily where Muslims come out and say, you want to say Islamic countries are bad? In America, every second, 3 women are being raped. They are right. There is absolutely zero record of any rape taking place in Islamic countries. If you think that's because nobody commits rape, well, no, that's not true. There is no statistics and there is no report of rape in Islamic countries, because if a woman come out and admit that she was raped, she will be killed. Let's go to chapter 4, verse 15 of Quran, where it says, those who commit unlawful sexual intercourse of your woman, bring against them 4 witnesses from among you, and if they testify, confine the guilty woman to houses until death take them, or Allah ordains for them other way. First of all, as I always say, I am almost positive it takes 2 to tango. However, under Islam in chapter 4, if 2 people commit adultery, woman is the one who's going to be punished. Now, secondly, if you come out and say you were raped, you have to bring 4 witnesses. Well, you do realize that's impossible. So when you can't do that, you automatically admitted yourself to having illegal sexual intercourse. And punishment for that? Death. So right there, in every single Islamic country, when somebody's raped, they will keep their mouth shut because they don't want to be killed for being victimized. And that's exactly why there is no report of rape. Because under Islam, rape don't even exist. It doesn't. Remember chapter 4, verse 34? A man owns a woman. Chapter 4, verse 11. A man decide for a woman. Part of that, and in so many other verses and so many teaching of Islam, a man is also in control and owns a woman's body that they purchased. Remember chapter 4, verse 3. They paid enough marriage money, so they own them. Now, I was pretty much, as I said, I was sold as a child bride. I went to jail. I was lashed. I was called a woman at age 9. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you how I felt, because I can't. I can't tell you how I felt. But what I can tell you is, based on all these verses and so many other verses that exist, if you pick up a Quran and read it, you'll see the evidence there. All of that happened to me because of Islam. And as I said, I acted on my nature and I survived. I survived Islam and Sharia, and I made my way legally to United States of America. I did. Very proud of it. When I got here, the main reason I couldn't eat or sleep was the nightmare of knowing so many thousands, hundreds of thousands of little girls like me are left behind. Every night I would think, what can I do to save them? What can I do to help them? What can I do to get the Western countries to stand up and fight for them? But guess what? 10 years later, I stopped having those nightmares and I started having new nightmares. And the new nightmare was, Sharia is here in America where I'm going to lose my freedom. Those little girls, the Islamic girls in America, are being tortured. They're possibly being mutilated. They're possibly being sold off to marriage daily, and nobody knows about it. Now, how do I save them? How do I fight mainstream media? How do I fight them when they come out and say, this has nothing to do with Islam? How do I prove that it does have everything to do with Islam?